Well, earlier we'd reported on how the students in Montreal are using the Formula One event to voice their anger with regards to the planned tuition fee hikes at universities, as well as a new law that restricts their right to protest. We're going to cross over to Calgary, where we're being joined by our correspondent Joshua Blakeney to tell us a bit more about the situation down in Quebec. Now, Joshua, the protests are going strong. They are now being echoed all over Canada, not just in Quebec. Tell us a bit more on how this Formula One event is going to work in favor for the cause these students have risen up against.
Well, of course, in April we had the Grand Prix in the dictatorship of Bahrain, where there was a repression and a crackdown on those activists who were striving for democracy in that country. And now the Grand Prix, it seems to be following repression wherever it goes, and has now decided to descend upon the city of Montreal, the most politically vibrant city in the province of Quebec, in order to have an event regardless of the political realities and the context within which it's taking place. And that context is, of course, mass protests, 250,000 people on the streets of Quebec, a crackdown and draconian legislation being enshrined. Bill 78 abrogates the Canadian Constitution, because Canada's had a constitution since 1982, which one of the main pinnacles of which is that people can protest and can have freedom of speech on the streets of their respective cities. But unfortunately, the local mafia-connected political elite in Quebec don't want students to be able to express their views, to be able to criticize their austere policies that they're imposing upon them, in which they're basically prohibiting post-secondary education for working-class people. And that's highly unpopular with the student body in Quebec. I am actually based in Western Canada, which is traditionally known to be more politically conservative, and the student protests have now raged across the country and are in fact spreading to Western Canada. And so this is, of course, in Calgary. We had this week many students out on the streets of Calgary protesting the ongoing attack on their education rights. This is the home base of Prime Minister Stephen Harper, so that was particularly politically potent. And so the protests have mushroomed across the country. The political elite in Quebec have sought to fight fire with fire, which hasn't really worked. It would appear that crackdown has failed. And so the resonance with Bahrain is obviously, the student body are aware of that, and so that's why it's particularly incorrect for the Formula One to come to Montreal.
Right, Joshua, but despite this, there does seem to be a bit of a deadlock between the students and the government. There have been multiple attempts at coming up with a compromise solution from both sides, but nothing has really changed on the ground now, has it? Well, it seems we have lost Joshua there. We'll try and get him back up for you to get more on the situation in Canada's Quebec as protests continue on the eve of the Formula One race there. Well, we're going to get you up to date with the headlines this hour now. Spain is set to ask for billions of euros for its sinking banks, hence becoming the fourth European state to request a bailout.